What's up, guys? I'm back with something new for you guys to enjoy. What if Naruto was Injustice Superman, guys? I got this idea a very long time ago, and I also recently got it back yesterday, and I figured that it was time that I finally release it. So thank you for the reminder, PXRQC. Yeah, thanks for the reminder. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and if you want to see the next part, you already know what to do. Just go ahead and obliterate that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. I'll be linking all the other series down in the description, so go ahead, check them out, and enjoy, guys. So without further ado or wasting any more time, how about we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin the intro. We begin this episode with rage. His heart was pounding. He could barely hear anything. All he felt was rage. His fists, mostly his knuckles, were stained in blood. His gaze, angered and wicked towards those who stood in front of him. All he received was harsh, hateful glares. His anger was reaching a new boiling point. Below him was a boy that was beaten, his nose broken. Surrounding him was several others, all of them on the ground. His name was Naruto Uzumaki. Spiky blonde hair, crystal blue eyes. He had enough of their crap. All of the adults were standing there, giving him such a hateful glare. "I didn't start any of this," he shouted. "They did, and I'm being blamed for it." "Well, screw you. Screw you all," he screamed at them. The crowd started to get a bit more randy, angry at his words, angry at his actions, as they started like they were going to make a move. "Fine then," he shouted. "Come and have a go, and we will see the ending result." He extended his hand, beckoning any of the adults to try him. Yet they stood where they were, afraid, which was rather crazy considering that he was 8 years old. An 8-year-old boy was making the adults afraid of him. However, the ruckus was broken up as envoys, specialized military forces of the village, descended upon the scene, and Naruto was taken away. The children were taken to get inspected if anything were too critically bad. However, they just got the shit beaten out of them. Nothing to make their life, hang in the balance. Time skip. He was being reprimanded by the Hokage for his actions. Rather crazy considering that he didn't start anything. However, there was testimonies and claims that he was the one that attacked the people. It has been this way since the beginning. It has always been this way, and it did not seem like it was about to change anytime soon. It's always been this way. From day one, it's always been this way. From the orphanage, the children there used to pick on him, take his food, take his toys, everything, until he started to fight back, realizing that if he continued to be quiet, they were going to see him as a fool, an idiot. But he started to fight back. It didn't matter how much time he got beat up. It didn't matter how much time he got in trouble. He always fought back. and people started to fear him more than disrespect him. He was kicked out of the orphanage much sooner than the other kids, for reasons that he did not know. The people did not see him as a child, no. They saw him as some sort of bacteria, some monster. He didn't know why. Why they treat him this way, they did not treat the other kids this way. All of the eye testimony was given saying that he started a fight. However, he was simply at the park by himself, observing the birds. When they gang up on him, people tend to underestimate him because of his smaller stature, and given that they were grades above him. However, Naruto had learned a long time. If he did not know how to defend himself, he would never truly keep what belongs to him. So he learned how to defend himself. Granted, he wasn't an expert on anything, due to him being a child, but he took down all of them by himself. Of course, he got a lot of punches and kicks, but he healed pretty quickly. Even now, he was healing pretty fast. But they would know better next time not to mess with him. Naruto's eyes were closed. As Hiruzen was speaking, his eyes suddenly snapped open. Naruto looked Hiruzen directly in the eyes. "I did not do anything wrong. The 6 kids that you fought are now in the hospital, each of them possessing a broken bone somewhere on them," Hiruzen said. "And they deserved it," said Naruto. "I was simply observing the birds when they came and attacked me, telling me that I had to move. They did not own the place, why did I have to move? I defended myself, I fought back. And those people, they judged me like I was a problem. They lied, making up all these stories. I did not start anything. I simply finished it," said Naruto. "Time after time again, I'm being blamed. I'm being seen as a problem when I have done nothing wrong. I am not the problem. Why do they hate me?" said Naruto. "You're the leader of this village. You have to know something. I never harmed these people. I never hurt them. I never tried to hurt them before. But they always look at me with such hate, such disdain. Like my very existence is a problem to them. And you never told me. You can never explain why. They can never explain why either. It's always that same look, again and again and again. And I'm being treated like I'm some kind of monster. And I did not do anything wrong." Tears start to well up in his eyes due to his anger. Hiruzen's heart broke for the boy, knowing full well exactly why. There are things that you're not ready to understand, Naruto. Some wounds in the village are not yet healed, and some people act out of fear rather than reason. In time, you will learn the truth. But for now, focus on your training. That is what your father would have wanted. The man never truly told Naruto who his parents were. He simply told him that they died in the 9th attack. However, this time Naruto wasn't about to settle for that. "What does that even mean?" he said, raising his tone as he got out of the seat. So much so that the Anvu started to prepare themselves just in case he did something stupid. Yes, Hiruzen was fully capable of protecting himself, but it was their job. This is where Hiruzen decided to pull rank. "Enough, Naruto," he said. "Asking such questions will only bring you pain. Trust me, it is for your own good and for the good of the village." Naruto clenched his fist tight. Before he released said fist, the rest of the words that were told to him, Naruto did not listen. As he did not listen a word that the old man said, the only thing he heard was that he could go. Naruto left walking down the street, people looking his way. Those same eyes over and over again. He had no way of gathering such information to find out what exactly has he done and why are they treating him this way. He's tried, but he could never truly find the answer to his situation. Time skip. I think this might be going a bit too far. A civilian spoke up. "A bit too far? You've seen what that child is capable of. Such hate, such rage. Do you believe that things will continue to be this peaceful? We have no idea how and when he will go berserk. And this time, how many of us will die? There was 5 civilians gathered together. At the head of the group was a dark, brown-haired man. He lost his daughter, his beloved daughter, during the Nightingale attack. This kind of hate never truly leaves someone. This rage, this anger. The one that was opposing this was younger. Adult but younger. He didn't really lose anyone during the attack, but he was too afraid. Yes, he was afraid like the others. The boy lashed out and broke several of the kids' bones. Do you have any idea what will happen when he lashed out using that power? The people looked around rather confused and scared. What about the Hokage? The Hokage isn't going to do shit. Time and time again, petitions has been rose. Documents have been signed to get the boy away from us all, to keep us safe and peaceful. But what does he do? He dismissed all of them and coddled that demon brat. In a matter of time, that thing is going to go berserk, and we're all going to die. None of us here can properly defend ourselves, but the Hokage can. Protect himself and his family. Why should we wait around and wait for our death? We are going to do this. So, are you in or are you out? He said to the cowering man. Time skip, months later. Another boring day. Naruto thought to himself as he made his way, his hands in his pockets. He made his way towards the forest area. There was a reason why he was able to take on 6 bullies. He's been training in secret, mostly focusing on physical training, knowing that he needed to be as strong as possible. Naruto spent the next couple of hours working out until he was dead tired, until his muscles were sore. It mostly consists of him running, then doing push-ups and sit-ups. He read about it in a book that was meant for sports. And this was what he's been doing, as he had found himself getting stronger and stronger as the time passed by. At least he could handle some bullies, so that was good. Naruto lay there having no idea what time it was, as he was simply lying there, observing the heavens. The sky was dark, multiple stars. That is when he heard something. Naruto pulled himself up, gazing around to see the animal that made the noise. However, something flashed past his vision. Naruto jumped to his feet, rather wobbly as he looked around. "Who's there?" he said. Show yourself." But no one came out. Naruto started to walk, heading back towards the village area, heading back home, when suddenly, someone appeared behind him. He did not see the person, but he could feel the person standing behind him. He tried to turn, but he was knocked in the back of the neck, where he proceeded to collapse. Naruto's hands and legs were bound, as he was placed in a sack. Moments later, a late night shift, a caravan that was supposed to reach the next town the morning, was currently passing through the gate, fully aware of the man that was currently behind the horses as he signed the confirmation slip. However, what the guards weren't aware of was the unconscious Naruto Uzumaki, along with the ninja that was there. There were 4 others sitting on the caravan, as they were in charge of, heavy lifting, as they saluted the guards as they passed through. All of this was organized, a plan that has been plotted for months now. And here it is. They were finally going through with it, on a night when the Hokage was not within the village, having left to deal with business outside with the fire daimyo. It was all a setup. A lot of money has been put in to ensure that this all would go as planned. Hiruzen Sartobe had kept Naruto's name off the radar. The only ones that were aware that the boy was the Jinchuriki were most of the adults. Outside, no one knew anything of his identity. When he was younger, yes, he was being watched for protection, but as the time went by, Hiruzen grew sloppy in that, allocating most of the security detail to different departments. And after the Uchiha attack, things became a lot worse. So yes, the boy was left. As there was no need to put any protection guard there, he was going to be fine. None of the villagers ever went as far as to touch him before. However, things were different now. And for that, this was happening. Time skip. When Naruto woke up, he found himself bound and gagged. He started to squirm and make noise when suddenly, the bag was pulled off his head. Naruto blinked as the sunlight shined down on his eyes. He had to squint. Where the hell am I? It came out mumble. Someone was there. A man was sitting within the caravan that he was in. The lower half of his face was covered and so was the upper half, just exposing his eyes. He reached up and removed the gag from Naruto's mouth. Who the hell are you? Where am I? Said Naruto. Calm down, kid. You're just making a bunch of noise. Fine. Who are you? Said Naruto. And where am I? I've taken you from your village. What? You heard me. I was paid a lot of money to take you. To kill you, actually. Naruto's heart immediately dropped as fear started to set in. His hands started to tremble in fear. But don't worry, I'm not gonna kill you. You see, I was given a lot of information on who you are, what exactly you are. And those villagers that despise you that much have no idea how much of a meal ticket you actually are. That is why I've used the time to ensure that I can get a profitable amount from you. What? Said Naruto. Well, basically I'm gonna sell you, he said. In these day and age, a lot are looking for slaves and all of that, but you're more special than even you know. What the hell are you talking about? In order for me to go through with this mission, I needed to learn the danger. I needed to learn why they would pay so much for a simple kidnapping. And then I found out. You're the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. I'm the what? The nine-tailed fox that attacked your village. It is sealed inside of you. Naruto was stumped. I figured that you should know that before. You know. Because not even I'm truly aware of what exactly is gonna happen to you after this. That information is not given to me. So I figure I could let you in on that little secret about your life that you don't know. I was given the information by the villagers. By your own people that ratted you out. A shame. You can't even trust your own people. Huh. Will of fire. Bullshit. Naruto was still stunned. Come on, kid, speak up. It's gonna be a long ride, at least entertain me with some words. That's the main reason why I'm telling you this, and that I remove your gag. So that's the reason. Naruto whisper. That's why they hate me. Yeah, pretty much. I am still rather shocked how easy it was for me to take you. Then again, I have been planning this for months. But the security around you is, well, non-existent. I suppose it's because of the low threat that you pose, or the low threat that others pose because they are not aware of who you are. But those villagers really despise you. Sold out by your own. Has to hurt. Why should it? They never liked me in the first place, said Naruto. Yeah, but still, you were a part of the village. You're telling me all of this. Why? Just to talk, Naruto asks. Well, that and there's nothing that you can do to escape. I mean, look outside. Naruto pulled himself up and gazed through the window that was there. And he saw it. He had no idea where they were. They weren't in a forest, they were in a strange, stony area. And these people, as Naruto saw someone on the outside walking, they're with me. So even if you were strong enough to take me out, which is impossible, you can't take them out. Naruto lowered his head as he slumped down. So that's it. I'm a goner. Are they gonna kill me? He asks. You know, for a kid, you're really mature. I had to learn a long time ago that I couldn't stay a kid for too long. That would just make things worse, Naruto said. So what's your deal in this? You're just in it for the money. Sacrificing my life just to get paid. Well, I don't really know you, nor do I truly care about you. Besides, money made the world go around. If you don't know that, given how mature you are, perhaps you're not that mature. How much did they pay you? Don't bother asking me that. It's not like you can match it. How exactly did you take me away? Said Naruto. Was there no checks? What about those special ninjas, the Anvus? Did they not try to stop you? Well, this caravan is very special, you see. It and a few others are... Well, it has been with Konoha for a long time, and the owner is well trusted. And the owner wasn't exactly told everything that he would be carrying. You being one of those goods. You see, the one that orchestrated this, he's a friend of the owner. And who are these people? Sorry, can't give you that information. Why? I thought you said that it didn't really matter. No, that's not it. You see, there was a lot of them. A lot of them, yes. They all sold you out. I did not take my time to know that much about them. It was for in their and my best interests. I did take my time to know you though. Every single day you head to the same forest to train to work out. I had to get it right though, to ensure that the Hokage would not be there on that day. Lucky enough, one of them had a friend in a high place, so they could find out when the Hokage would be leaving. Oh, said Naruto. You don't seem to be afraid. Most kids would be wetting themselves right now. Doesn't matter how mature you are. You know? It's strange, Mr. Kidnapper, said Naruto. I don't feel afraid. And I'm not sure why. Perhaps I have accepted what is going to happen. I've never been a smart person. Never been a genius or that much intelligent. I know how to read, I know how to understand things, but I've never truly been a very smart person. Perhaps I'm just too dumb to realize just how much danger I'm in. Or perhaps I'm masking my fear with these stupid comments between us. You know, you're really surprising, you brat. You're what, 9 years old? And yet you speak like this. You would probably have a promising future if I wasn't given this mission. Well, I guess you were screwed by fate. I guess I was, said Naruto as he leaned back. His hands were bound tightly enough that he could not get away. The villagers were the one that did this to him. And Konoha's security was lacking so much that he was taken. He felt like laughing, which was rather disturbing. Why would he laugh in a situation like this? He had no idea. He started to laugh, causing the man to gaze down towards him, wondering if he's lost his marbles. As Naruto kept on laughing until he finally stopped. Through the crack of the nearby window, Naruto could see the sun shining down. As it was shining down, it was so beautiful. However, Naruto has never felt so depressed before. He's never felt so sad and miserable. He felt like giving up, like there was no point. He knew they hated him, but to sentence him to his death, that was just horrible. Not to mention he was the Nine-Tails. The man said a word that he didn't really understand, but the Nine-Tails was with him, sealed within him. The Hokage had to know this. So this was a big secret. That is why they hate him. And in the classroom they were told that the Nine-Tails was killed by the fort. So why then? So many mysteries, so many secrets. However, Naruto just did not care. His life was never good. He didn't have any friends. He didn't have any family. The only people that he ever really spoke to was the Hokage or the ramen people. Not to say that he even had a relationship with them. He just liked their ramen and he ordered a lot. But he had no one that truly cared about him, because if someone cared, they wouldn't continue to lie to him about his own body. So what was he left with? Absolutely nothing. Naruto has never truly been a loud child. He's never truly been a child that would gain attention that much. He tried his best to seclude himself most times, due to everyone hating him. And now, perhaps that was the reason why he was so calm. Perhaps he deep down expected this someday. He gazed up at the sun. Perhaps the sun could be his friend in the final moments. It was always there, never truly disappearing, never truly vanishing away. A hope, a light, a strength, a force. It would be awesome to be like the sun. Then no one could touch him. No one could hurt him. In that moment, the genetical structure of Naruto Uzumaki was being altered. The depression, the sadness, him giving up. It is said that when a user of the Uchiha clan experience a pain that is so great, it causes a special chakra to awaken within their brain that pour to their eyes to awaken the Sharingan. However, Naruto was not aware that the Uchiha clan was not the only special clan. His last name was Uzumaki, and in the past, there has been another. But once again, a bloodline that was thought to be extinct, a bloodline that was so powerful. The very notion of this was a very detrimental fear to thousands, millions. A bloodline that had said to vanish from the face of the earth, reawaken inside the boy. A bloodline that was going to change everything. A bloodline that would change the entire world. It was called solar radiation. For a brief second, Naruto's eyes became bright gold, like the sun itself, before dimming back down, unaware that his body was going through molecular and genetic changes that would cause a greater understanding than he ever truly knows. As he lay there, soaking up the sun, Naruto blacked out. He blacked out. The next moment he opened his eyes and found himself inside of, he wasn't sure. He could see the ground, but there was nothing there, but he could see the ground. He heard something, as he saw something rather abnormal. A man with blonde hair like his, but his was much longer, seated and fishing. Naruto walked cautiously over to the man. The man motioned toward the seat beside him. "What is this place?" Naruto said, not sitting down. "Where am I?" The man motioned back to the seat. Having no idea what was going on, Naruto sat down. As the man handed him a fishing pole. "My name is Zorel," he said. Zorel? That's a weird name, said Naruto. "Ah, yes, it is. However, time has changed since naming was a thing." "What?" "I'm not from your time," he said. The only reason why I can speak to you is because of the thing that we share. What are you talking about? Said Naruto. There is so little that you know and yet so much out there for you to know. Well, I think I should start with my backstory. Your what? You see, my clan is known as the Oda clan. A group of people not too large. However, they have inhabited this earth for a very long time. A very, very long time. The Oda clan never truly believed in war. They never truly believed in violence. They wanted to reside with each other peacefully. However, there were certain actions that took place with a woman that doesn't even belong on this planet. And there was a certain monster that devoured my people. Perhaps it was due to the strong life force that they possess. Vengeance is a hell of a thing, Zor-El said. My people seek to get vengeance on the one that caused so much suffering and chaos. So they dabble into the arts. The arts? Naruto said confused. You know the components of chakra, don't you? Spiritual and physical. Yes, Naruto said. Well, my people mostly focus on the spiritual. They didn't have the physical means to fight back. So they created one. And thus, the first wielder of our bloodline was born. Bloodline? You mean like the Uchihas, Naruto said? Or the other one, what's their name again? The Hyugas. But the Uchihas are gone now, so I doubt. Wait, you said that you weren't even from this time. I don't understand. Just listen, Zor-El said. My people dabble in a very ancient art. Removing the physical aspect from chakra will open up a new understanding that no one in this day and age is aware of. And as I said, the first bloodline was created from this earth, known as a solar radiation, granting the wielder extraordinary gifts that shock many others. History has forgotten the one that was there to assist, the one that helped to save this world. You see, young boy, there was a monster that was terrorizing the world a long time ago. And the member of the Oda clan that was gifted with the solar radiation was there to defeat it along with two others. However, he never stepped into the spotlight like the others. So history forgot about him. However, the ones that remember him, the ones that were aware of him, they saw the threat that he posed, even to someone like them that has power to change the fabric of this world. However, he wasn't a wicked being. Despite losing many members of his clan, he chose to stay out of most things. Even as war started to rip apart the land, all he wanted was a peaceful life with his family. Thus, he was never bothered because they knew the power at his disposal. And as time passed by, he was gradually forgotten about. His bloodline never seemed to be truly genetic. His children weren't blessed with it. As time passed, his bloodline mingled with others. And then there was the Uzumaki clan. Wait, what? As I said, there is so much that you don't know. However, in due time you will know everything. The Uzumaki clan mingled with the remnants of the Oda clan. And thus, after thousands of years, it seemed to have finally aligned and resurfaced within. He tapped Naruto on the chest. You. Naruto looked at the man confused, not understand most of the things that he said. This is no longer my time period, but it seems I was able to see another, the reawakening our bloodline. And I'm happy for that. I can tell that you're not an evil person. At the same time, you're not someone that will step away from the truth. You're not someone that will be clouded by the misguided ways. But in how you go about doing this, others will try to stop you. I can see it within the depths of your heart. However, if you're true to what you believe in, if you understand how broken things have become, how would you know that? Said Naruto. You said you're not here anymore. I can see through your eyes. For the first and the last time. You're that man, aren't you? Said Naruto. The one from the Oda clan. Zoro got to his feet. Yes, I am, he said. And now, all this power will eventually fall in your hands. Changes can be made. Changes has to be made. And you will make those changes. Go on, Naruto Uzumaki. And make the changes that you were destined to make. The man exploded in a violent blast. However, Naruto soon realized what it was. The man turned into the sun. And Naruto was in the center of the sun. And it felt so warm. So, hey, get up. Naruto was snapped out of his thoughts. Like he was pulled from a dream. The next thing he knew, he was being dragged by chains that were wrapped around his hands. As he was being pulled outside, it was nighttime once again. He was pulled inside of a building. As they walked in tandem, Naruto heard things as he gazed and saw people. Some children that were his age. They were locked away in crates, behind bars, behind mesh. So much of them. His gaze looked through the volley of the broken doors and saw them chained up together, dressed in rags. Naruto was yanked as he was brought to a pristine door. There was a knock. The one that was dragging him there knocked as the door opened up. Another guard stepped to the side as Naruto was pushed in. Seated behind a desk was a man with a smirk on his face. He jumped down. Wait, jumped down? The man was pretty short as he walked around the decks. So this is him, huh? As he looked over Naruto with a smile on his face. I can't believe this actually went well. The kidnapper looked towards him. What? You expected less? Yes, I expected you to die. The kidnapper blinked several times. This boy is holding one of those mythical beasts. How can you be so sure? It's the information I was given. Don't you trust my word? Not really. I don't really trust anyone. Hey, get out here, he said. A man stepped out, standing at an impressive height of 6 feet 1, looking like a giant above the short man. Brown eyes with glasses. You call me Gato, he said. The shorter man was named Gato, a very important businessman to the public, but underground he was a very big crime boss. He was one of the biggest when it came to the slave trafficking ring. Do it, he said. With pleasure, the man said, walking over as Naruto tried to move back, but he was grabbed by the kidnapper and pushed. The man slowly started to observe Naruto. Remove your shirt. Naruto's eyes narrowed dangerously when he heard that, as he turned and ran. However, the kidnapper slapped him as he crashed into the wall. I told you not to try to run away. You'd only get hurt. The man walked over. Don't worry, child, he said. I won't harm you. He grabbed Naruto's shirt and ripped it off. He then proceeded to go through hand sign and place his hand, scanning over Naruto before he stopped at his stomach area. He slapped his hand down on Naruto's stomach as Naruto felt a pulse. The next moment, a strange tattoo appeared on his stomach area. Naruto looked down confused as well. The man straightened himself up as Gato smiled. It is, isn't it? Yes, it is indeed, the man said, looking down towards Naruto. Gato was all smile. Now, me, the kidnapper said, as he stepped forward. Oh yes, it's over there. Going over toward the chest, he opened it, grinning as he did to see the cash that was inside. The kidnapper packed his stuff as he started to walk away. Good luck, kid, he said, as he left, leaving Naruto there. I can't believe that. He actually pulled it off. Gato stepped forward. Don't be afraid, brat. I'm not gonna hurt you. In fact, you're my special guest here. He snapped his finger as someone came inside. Make sure that he's well taken care of. He's gonna be worth a lot, he said with a grin on his face as Naruto was dragged away. Time skip. Due to everything being so calm when it came to Naruto, only the villagers posing a threat, not physically but with their gaze. Hiruzen took his eyes off the ball, allocating most of his forces to deal with other problems, leaving Naruto to live his life as a child, keeping away the guards from him, and thus, no one was there. The first day, absolutely nothing was different. The second day, same. The third day, same. It was a fourth day though. Aruka Mino noticed something rather strange. As Naruto was so quiet, Naruto was so unremarkable, not giving off anything. As Aruka believed that Naruto was simply not there the second day. And the third, he grew concerned, but on the fourth, something was definitely wrong. He knew who Naruto was, never actually having a one-on-one with a child. But something seemed wrong. So he brought his concerns. What? Hiruzen said. Moments later we find Hiruzen Sarutobi knocking on Naruto's door. When he got no answer, he got the super to open the door. And inside, nothing. No one. Concern. Fear started to course through the old man. He hasn't been paying attention. Neither when Naruto was in the orphanage. He never visited Naruto until he was 5 years old, unfortunately. And now, this can't be. The Anvus immediately descend upon the area, coming to his call. He told them to spread out immediately and search. The Anvus were dashing from tree to tree, searching the forest, searching through the buildings. However, they couldn't find him. They couldn't find Naruto Uzumaki. Minutes turned into hours and hours turned into days. 2 days passed and still there was no sign. Hiruzen was losing his mind. Fearing the worst, remembering their conversation a few months ago. How angry Naruto was. How upset he was. That was the last time they actually spoke to one another. Could he have run away? And Hiruzen dropped the ball so much that he did not realize until now. And now it seemed to be too late. Having the search expanded out, trying to cover more grounds. Meanwhile, that same man who led the drive received word from the member that he was linking with about the status of things. They were gathered once again, 5 of them. It turns out that they're aware of what is going on. The cowardly man. But what if this is linked back to us? I already told you that it cannot be linked back to us. So all we have to do now is play our part. Go on with your normal day, your normal life. Because we will never see that demon ever again. Understood? The others nodded as they split apart. It would draw too much attention for them to gather back together, so returned back to their day-to-day life. However, the short man, possessing dark blue hair and dark eyes, he was nervous, afraid, jumpy. Yes, he was. Afraid that he would be ratted out, afraid that he would be an accomplice. Hiruzen had laid out the order that whoever broke the rule would be killed. Imagine what would be done to him. He would be tortured. He sat within his home. The only reason why he did this was to protect his family. But as he looked at his baby girl, he felt so guilty. His wife came in and rested her hand on his shoulders, massaging them. "Are you alright, honey?" she said. "You haven't been sleeping so well for the past couple of days." "Oh, yeah, I'm fine, just a lot on my mind." He was nervous, afraid. The more time passed, the more guilt started to consume him. He knew the others would not like it, but he had to come clean. So he paid the Hokage a visit. Hiruzen didn't have time for this, but when he was told that this was about the boy, the short man stepped into the office. Hiruzen was very angry, because if this was what he believed it was. "What do you know?" he said. The man gulped. I beg your forgiveness," he said, dropping down to his knees. "Please, I wasn't the one behind this." Hiruzen stepped forward and the man felt like his insides were about to fall out. "What do you know?" The thunderous voice of the Hokage, a man that stood on principle, a man that stood without any falter, gazed down towards him. The man spilled everything as Hiruzen stood there, shocked by his words, shocked by what he has heard. Time skip. Naruto. Naruto was seated in a room, gazing through the window. He was dressed in clean clothes, a white shirt and white shorts. There was a private shower for him. He received 3 meals a day. This no longer felt like he was kidnapped. He heard words, he heard gathering. They were going to sell him to the highest bidder. Gato knew that he had to be extremely careful with this. This was not an average thing to go about selling. This could cause his entire downfall, so he had to be careful who he speak to. He had to be careful what he's doing. After all, this boy, it wasn't about the money. This was about the power that they will get to have access to such a beast. Therefore, he had to be extremely careful what he was doing. He made sure that the boy was kept in good health, protected and well maintained. And Naruto hadn't had a problem, other than the fact that he was alone, which wasn't new. No one bothered him, no one troubled him, nothing at all. He was just there, fed and protected. Naruto sat there, observing the sun. He remembered the dream that he had. That strange dream with that man. What was his name? Zor something. Zorel, right? If he remembered correctly. He remembered what the man had told him about the Oda clan. No, that was a weird dream. He never had a dream like that before. He was trying for the past few days to try to see if he could make contact with the fox. But so far, nothing. He didn't know how to do that. The fox perhaps had the power to destroy this place. So getting him out of here was not difficult, right? But he could not, because he did not know how. It was so frustrating. As days go by and days, still nothing. However, tonight was something big. The clothing that he was given was more professional, more put together. Something big was going on. Naruto heard people, a lot of them. They must be right next door, he thought to himself. He could hear them. He could hear what they were saying. It was hard at first, but the more he focused, the more he could hear them. That is when he heard another voice. Someone whispering. Naruto looked around, stepping towards the opposite wall. Hey, are you there? The person sounded to be around his age. They were right behind this wall, but he could not see. The next moment, something strange happened. Naruto saw through the wall. He blinked. What the hell? No, that Naruto rubbing his eyes vigorously. But he could see nothing anymore. What the hell was that? He could clearly see through the wall a moment ago, and no one was in the room. What the hell was going on? He questioned. When it happened again, he was freaked out and his eyes were hurting. He had to squint and maintain his vision, as he soon come to focus his gaze, focus enough to see. He squinted his eyes and Naruto saw 3 empty rooms, and there was a far room in the distance that a girl was inside. Silver hair. That is when everything switched. Naruto could now see her bones. He stepped back rather freaked out by all of this. What the hell was going on? He questioned his sanity. Was this real? Wait, if she was that far, how could he hear her whispering? This made no sense at all. What the hell was going on? Naruto questioned once again, not truly understanding. As he gazed around, Naruto heard it, the voices. Wait, he turned towards the other wall and looked, and it actually worked. But there was no one there. Naruto focused and his gaze, it seemed to go better forward. He saw through the wall and the building, only to see a large group of people, and the man, the leader, Gato, surrounded by several others. Naruto saw photographs that were taken of him. They were discussing him, but they weren't close, they were far. But he could hear their voices. When he focused on one of them, he could hear the precise words, but all of them was just too much. He gripped his head and pulled back, shaking himself out. Naruto then remembered. Solar radiation. Can it be? Was that not a dream? He wondered to himself. He stepped towards the door. My power is now your power. Naruto placed his hand on the wooden door. He was no longer shackled because the lock was outside. He punched it. Nothing happened. However, it did not hurt. He punched it again, and his fist dented the door. He punched it a third time and it dented even more. He punched it, and punch and punch and punch. He focused his gaze to see that no one was coming. The girl, she heard it. He punched it. Once again, it did not break. He pulled his fist back and punched it. He heard the creaking sound. Naruto ran to the opposite wall. Focusing, Naruto ran and slammed his shoulder into it. The hinges broke as he collapsed down on it. The outside showed a different story, but Naruto did not see. The door was reinforced from the outside, yet he broke it down. A 9-year-old boy. Something that strong. Naruto gazed around before running down the hall, reaching much faster than he expected. He pulled himself up to the bars. Hey, are you okay? He asked. The girl gazed up towards him. Her hair was covering most of her face. She looked afraid. Who are you? She said. Wait, I'll get you out, said Naruto. He didn't know why, but he had to save her. Naruto looked around. He looked towards the lock and the reinforced door. Having not seen his door outside, he had no idea that he did the same to his. This was stronger. He started to walk as the girl came up to the door. Hey, wait! Don't leave me! Don't worry, I won't, he said. Seeing her eyes for the first time, a beautiful set of amber eyes. Naruto focused and he saw something. A piece of steel. He made his way. He picked it up and came back. He placed it right at the lock. He then started to push down as hard as he possibly can until pop. The lock broke. Removing it and throwing it to the side, Naruto opened it up. The girl almost fell, but he caught her. "It's alright," he said. "I'm gonna get us out of here." She looked so terrified as she clinged on to him. They were around the same age. Naruto gazed focused outwards, trying to find some sort of exit. He saw something as he ran. The both of them running down the hall, making their way. The others were busy, and they were guarding the room, so this was empty. "Shit," Naruto cursed. What's wrong?" she said. "They're done," Naruto said with panic in his tone as he watched as the guards were making their way towards his room. Not focusing, he burst inside, only to come across a rather horrific scene. The girl froze and stepped back, her face instantly turning green. As she puked, Naruto was mortified. Bodies. Children their age and above. He remembered the kids that he saw. They were... Naruto saw jars containing organs. They took their... For the first time, Naruto was truly seen just how wicked mankind was. Given what the villagers did to him, but this was different. The girl shook him. "We have to go," she said. "They're going to catch us and we're going to end up like that." Yeah, he said, unable to focus as he was disturbed by what he saw as he ran down the hall. Moments earlier. "What?" "Find them!" Gato shouted as his man dashed out, quickly making their way, trying to locate the escaped prisoners. When the door was thrown over, "How the hell did this..." "Sir." One of them pointed towards the hinges. Gato seemed rather surprised. "Find them now," he said. "They're not leaving this place." "Not that they can," he said with a smirk. Meanwhile, Naruto and the girl ran down the hall as quickly as they could. They came across a door as Naruto saw it. Naruto ran and slammed into it. It broke down as he dropped. He got back up as he arrived to see the barred windows. He gripped onto it. "What now?" We can't get through here." "Yes, we can," said Naruto as he yanked. "And yank. You can't break that. What are you doing?" "Watch me," said Naruto. He yanked one more as it started to crack the wall. "Come on." He was struggling. "Come on. Come on," he shouted. He ripped it out of the wall as he threw it down to the side. The girl was shocked, amazed by what she just saw. However, Naruto froze. She soon saw why. He saw the window and he saw the door, but he never saw beyond that. They were on some kind of mountain. Looking down, the drop was extremely far. Naruto looked around as he turned to see two men running down the hall. He grabbed the girl's hand and ran on the side. However, there was no more left to climb. There was a big gap. Naruto reached and grabbed her hand tightly. "Hold on," he said as he threw her up. She screamed. "Grab on," he screamed at her. Her eyes snapped open as she focused. Despite her fear, she reached and tried to grab the stone, but she slipped. The two men rushed outside, but it was too late. Naruto watched as she was falling to her death. She was going to die. She wouldn't survive that drop. She was going to die. He didn't know why. He jumped. Without hesitation. He jumped, pushing off with such speed that he reached her in time as he wrapped his arms around her. Perhaps this was a better fate than the one that they were going to be dealt if they had stayed behind. He wrapped his arms protectively around her. to keep her safe, to keep her protected despite knowing that they would not survive this drop. As they were falling, despite how scared she was, she had to ask, "Why?" "I don't know," he said. Naruto accepted his fate. As he was about to close his eyes, he saw the sun, the beautiful light, basking down towards him. No, not like this. He would not go out like this. This world. He remembered the words that were told to him by that man. Perhaps it wasn't a dream after all. Zorel. He would have the power to change it. He would have the power to make sure that things like this never happen again. Those children, their organs were being harvested. For what? They were kids. They were supposed to live their life and be happy, but no. They were used like cattle, treated like they were spare parts. How can a world like this exist? How can people like this exist? And he was about to give up. He possessed strange powers. He didn't know what they were, but he did. So was he really about to let himself die here? No, he wasn't. He refused that. He refused to give up so easily. He refused to accept this fate. He refused. Naruto pushed himself. Surprised that he was even able to do that, he pushed himself in mid-air. For a second there, it was almost like he was flying. Naruto stretched his arm as he slammed down on a piece of rock. Unfortunately though, it seemed to have used too much strength. The rock started to rip down and tear through the wall. He grabbed the girl with his other arm, putting her arm around him as she held on. He gripped on with his other hand as his nails scraped through the stone. Naruto gripped and came to a stop. Freaked out and shocked that he was able to do that. He held on. So did she. "Hold on to me tight," said Naruto. She held on. "I won't let you go," she said. Naruto started to climb, surprised that he was doing this, slamming his hand into the rock, breaking it as he climbed upwards. One after another, one after another. As he had jumped, that is why he felt like he was flying. He had jumped to another goddamn mountain. And these mountains were not close to one another. The entire facility was built in a mountain, yes. A secret area where no one would find them. Got to arrive. "Where the hell are they?" he shouted. The two men were shocked, unable to explain what just happened. As Naruto climbed up to the top, the girl that he doesn't even know, she clinged on and held on to him tightly. Unfortunately though, it wasn't over. As Gato ninjas could walk on wall. Yes. As Naruto and her got to the top, she settled down on her feet. You saved us." He smiled at her. Those words, he smiled, hearing that come from her mouth. However, Naruto spun around. His eyes actually seen everything. The radius was wide. He focused and saw the man running. Shit! Naruto ran and grabbed her and started to run. The problem was, some of them took the other way around. And they went down below. And they came around. Naruto cursed as he stopped running the other way. He turned towards the side, but there was no other mountain nearby. And the drop would definitely kill them. They had to climb down. "Get on my back," said Naruto. However, something was thrown nearby. Boom! An explosion threw the both of them down to the ground. As two ninjas landed, "You idiot! We aren't supposed to kill them." just making sure that they don't get away again. I wasn't aiming at them, just the surrounding. The one that threw it said, as the both of them start to walk towards the two down kids. Unlike her, Naruto had hit his head, and it had knocked him out. He was out cold. Yes, he was. She tried to wake him, but he wasn't waking up. One of the men smirked down towards her. Stop trying to run away, or else we'll have to hurt you. And we both know that neither of you want that. Your friend needs medical attention. Let's go back and get him some help. As he reached to touch Naruto. No! Leave him alone, she said. Huh. And what exactly are you gonna do, the other one said, reaching to touch Naruto. I said, leave him alone, she shouted. What happened next shocked the living hell out of both men. And Naruto, who came to, waking up from the head trauma. That wasn't so bad after all. As the other ninjas descended upon the scene, they too witnessed what happened and they were shocked. Back at the village, everyone that was a part of this was put into custody. Hiruzen had his best interrogator bleed them dry for information. Naruto had left the village. A few days back, he was taken from the village. However, they have a rough estimate on where he was. The problem was, they knew what he was. He was a Jinchuriki. And being a Jinchuriki on your own, as a child, was one of the most dangerous things in this world. They had to find him. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below and turn on that bell notification, stay posted. But I'm off for now, see you guys soon. Peace.